Hello, this is the case study discussion. I've got Shane here and that's about it. So we'll just have a quick talk through, and I'm recording this so everybody can have a bit of a look. There we go. That's us, Shane. Right.
Yep.
Now, did you get a chance to have a look at it at all, Shane?
No, not really. Not yet.
Okay, that's cool.
No.
All right, so essentially I've departed from Global Motors for a change. I'm trying to start to think more about the kinds of things that you would need to do if you're doing market research in a real job. And a lot of the examples that we have from this textbook are really big. They're, for the whole of America for a General Motors company. And it's good to know what that's like and what those sort of people in those jobs that have to do. But it's also really good to know how you might apply it in a much smaller setting in a more practical way. So this one's sort of much more bite-sized. This is talking about the college experience, and they wanted to know how they could, these people in this case study wanted to know how they could improve the college experience.
Okay.
And so what we've got here is a transcript of a focus group that they ran. So we're talking about qualitative analysis, which is my cup of tea. So the lecture on qualitative analysis is longer than any other lecture in this unit, because it's what I do most of. But this is a standard way that you would have qualitative data come to you, and this is in a sort of this person talking, and it's pretty much a transcript. And that's what you have to analyse. There's lots of things you can do with that, but we'll have a look at the questions that they've asked. So in here, and I'll just run through, I know you haven't read through it, so I'll just quickly sort of identify. I've got the answers there, so I'll go over to the next page. Okay, so were focus groups the appropriate research method? So essentially they were looking for ways to improve the student experience, and I would say that yes, it was a good choice to use focus groups. You could, I don't know, if you could think of other ways that we might be able to do that. You could probably ask surveys, I don't know.
Well, if the focus groups are properly picked, you get a decent representation of the student population, then they're usually the best method.
Yeah. Well, this was in just the School of Business Education or College of Business Education, so that actually relates to one of the questions. But that's true. It is, I think, probably a good method because you actually get to dig deeper and find out more information, and you might be able to reveal things that you didn't know. So you might see that people aren't enjoying their college experience and you're not sure why. You can only guess. So you go out and talk to people and you find out a lot more information.
Yeah, could be used less in Hollywood.
What was that?
It could be used less in the movie-making process in Hollywood. I think it hampers creativity a bit.
It's true, yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And also in political sort of platform creation as well. They're sort of trying to formulate focus groups of citizens that look like the sort of standard citizens. So they, the mother of three and the whatever, the retiree and the 18-year-old or whatever, and we're finding that, yeah, true, that it is hampering the creativity, I think, of our political stage as well, quite a lot.
Yeah. If you constantly give people what they want, then you never really give them anything new. It's so
true, and it's almost like the Facebook problem too. You constantly fed what you like. And you don't sometimes see what's outside of the world. And that's actually a really important point, because just pleasing people isn't necessary. Sometimes you can please people with something they didn't even know they wanted. And I think that's a very important point when you're thinking about market research.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, I would say that there probably was a biased question in those from the moderator. So the moderator, they were asking, were there any leading or biased questions? I'd say the very last question was probably very leading. Don't you think CBE could be improved if we developed some sort of peer advising program? So they're kind of feeding in their own thoughts into that instead of trying to repeat thoughts back to people. That's a moderator issue.
Yeah.
Are there other questions? Well, I thought there could be. you know, they're talking about the Student Marketing Association idea. They're saying that we all give each other good advice, and we think that should be extended out to the rest of the college. So you could say, well, you know, how do you think it could work for the whole college? Who do you think should run it? So you could probably, a lot of people have a lot of ideas. They've already given a lot of thought to that stuff. So, yeah, the moderator probably could have done a bit better job there. Okay, so how is the College of Business and Education perceived? The professors are accessible but too focused on theory. So this is just reading through it and coming up with your own assessment of what they're saying. So once you read it, you can come up with your own ideas. Maybe I've missed something. Professors are not good at offering advice outside their discipline area. Well, there's sort of two key things that I saw. And can we generalise the findings? That's probably the big one. The answer is no. It was one group of people. It wasn't representative, and it was specific to one school. But what you can do is use it as a basis for further investigation right across the college. So it gives you an opportunity. You've sort of identified some things that might help you design a questionnaire, for example, or an online survey or something to send out to people, because you've got an idea of some of the issues. That obviously professor accessibility is an issue. Obviously, sort of getting advice on course choices and stuff like that was important to them. So that then gives you some ideas about some research objectives for a further survey and further research project. And that's that. That's the end of that. So that was really straightforward. But what I will do, you got any questions about that, Shane?
No, not really. I'm just trying to look for the case study now.
Okay, well, you do that.
It's in the textbook, right?
It is, and it's on page, I can even tell you. Can you find it?
Just looking for the right chapter. Chapter 6.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's right at the end usually. It takes me as long to find the page as it does to page 168. There you go.
158. 68.
Yep.
Okay, found it.
Cool. So I'll let you go with that. Given that I'm recording and need to sort of keep it tidy, I'm just going to minimise my stuff here. Can you still see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's a little bit laggy. But...
Okay. I'll just open... Oh, actually, you know, I won't. I will just open a blank... This is SPSS. Welcome to SPSS. I'll get rid of that. I was going to open one of my data files from my PhD. But this is, okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm on a Mac, so it might look a little different to what you have. Okay, so you've got two views, all right? So I've just opened it up and it's completely blank. There's nothing in it. This is your fresh start and you're thinking, holy moly, how am I going to do this? And there's lots and lots of ways to do it, but I'll show you, just explain to you sort of the navigation first. All right, okay, we have both data view down here, it's lit up blue, so this is data view. So this is, each line is one entry. So each line would be, as in Excel or something like that, each line is one questionnaire, usually, one survey, one value, one person. In the variable view, see these variables, each one of these, okay, you're going to have in there the number of the survey. So number one, you usually have a record number, so that's first. Then you would usually have something like male or female. That's and you'll learn that that's a nominal category. So the next lecture after this one's really quite worth having a look at, because it talks about the different types of data. So there's nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio data, and the variable will ask you to identify which one of these is. So each one of these you'll have, so it'll be the record number, male or female, gender, you know, those kind of things, and each one will be broken down. So how you set those up, each one of those columns up, is by going into the variable view, okay? And each one of these is one variable, okay? So that variable number one there is this variable number one here. I hope that makes sense. So,
kind of.
yep, all right, that's all right. I know it looks a little bit strange, but now what I'm going to do is just quickly open up from my, I'll go in through my PhD, for example, and have a look at chapter 6, experiencing. I've got some statistical data in here. Okay, so this is a city user survey. All right, that's in, okay, I'm going to have to open that different way, aren't I? Sorry. PhD, chapter 6, user surveys, data analysis. Don't ever do a PhD because this is what happens to you. You have 2 million things. All right, here we go. Right, so this is what my survey, so I'll show you what my survey, also what my survey looked like. I've got it in PDF in this really weird thing where it opens only one page at a time. Okay, so this is the first page of my PhD survey, right? So this is, I went out and asked 550 users of the city in Cairns what the experience of the city is, okay? Because when people come to Cairns, they're usually interested in experiencing the Great Barrier Reef and going out to natural things. Well, my research was looking at what people actually did in the city as, you know, not as nature-based tourists, but how they used the city, what they liked and disliked about the city and so forth, okay? So I didn't do it the way it says in the textbook to do it. I actually, in a tourist survey, I quite like to give them the really standard questions about who are you, where do you live and where you were born nice and early. A lot of marketing research philosophy says that you should put those demographic questions last. So you have to think about your market. In tourism, people quite like talking about themselves, so we tend to find it's easy to put it up the front. So what we have here, all right, so these match, right? So what you can see in the survey is what you can see here. So we're in the data view now. So the first one that came in, this is my record number 1, and this is what it looks like, okay? So I've got the year that the survey was done, the month and the date and the day, yep. So whether it was that was obviously Friday that was done, that was number 5. So yeah, I'll explain that in a second. RE day, I can't remember why I had RE day in there. Gender, okay, you're either 1 or 2, male or female. Your postcode if you're in Australia. Your country, so you can see that these are aligning. Each one of these columns is aligning with the questions that are going down the left-hand side of the survey. Now, if you look in the variable view, this is how I set it all up. So you can see, I hope, does that make sense, Shane? Can you see how I've set that up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? So question 4, how would you best describe your occupation? If we go along here, OCC, occupation, and I had a series of occupational groups, and I gave them a number from 1 to 11 or whatever they were. Okay, so you can see that each one of those questions aligns with pretty much a column. Now, if we go into variable view, this is how I set it up. This is the complicated bit. This is when you've got your survey and you are thinking about how you're going to analyse your data. You have to think about how you're actually going to enter it into your database. Okay, so column 1, I wanted as an ID, numeric. I could say how wide it was going to be, how many decimals, no decimals, blah, blah. Okay, it's a nominal thing, which means it's named. It's just a name of a category. It's not got any scale. It's not related to anything. It's a very straightforward, it's just a number that's allocated to that record. The year, okay, in here, these are the years that I had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 1, if you type in 1, it's 2006. You type in 2, so I've set this up, right? Each year has a number. So these were all done in 2013. So most of the numbers are going to be 8, I think. but it shows, because we put in 8 in the data entry, what it does is it saves you having to write 2013. See, I put in an 8 and you can see in there it comes up as 2013 for me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then, the year that it was taken, still a nominal thing. It's just a name. It's just a year. There's no measure attached to it. It's just information for me about that record. Same with month, date, day. Still don't know what RE day is, but anyway, who knows? Okay, so your gender. This is a very standard one that you would have to set up quite often. It's numeric. I've put it in as numeric, which means that I'm putting it in as a number. Okay, I've allocated the values 1 equals male, 2 equals female. So when I'm data entering, I don't have to write male, male, male. Every time I'm writing a male, I just write 1 or 2. So I have a code sheet. Usually I have a copy of that survey in front of me with numbers written all over it of what each category is being numbered. Now, you don't have to remember all of this. I'm just introducing it to you straight up so you can see. We'll go over it in more detail as it progresses, but, throughout the unit, for the rest of the unit. But just so you can see what a real working SPSS database looks like, it actually can give you a bit of a hand when you're thinking about how to set stuff up. We won't go through everything, but male-female is a very standard one.
It's sort of, just by looking at it, it sort of looks like it could be easily set up in Excel as well, though.
Yeah, that's right, which is why I would be happy to do it in Excel.
Yeah.
However, the analysis and the reporting is much more complicated. Oh, sorry, my phone's going ballistic. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Mac, everything dings at you at once. They're all talking to one another.
Oh, yeah. I've got one too. At the bottom when something's wrong for program, it bounces up in the air. Yeah, I just don't like it. It seems very arrogant.
It goes, look at me.
Yeah, just like, wait your turn.
It's true. And so here also, if there's a missing variable, right, it's -1. So if someone hasn't said if they're male or female, I can put -1 in there, in that column, and it will recognise it as a missing variable, which helps you calculate. If you have less than 80% of your survey filled in or completed, then it's not, in my calculations, I calculated that as not being a valid survey and I had to discard it. So it's important to show if you've got a missing value, you haven't just missed it, but it's actually missing. So it helps you with that calculation. Okay, and so it gives you your alignment. It gives you all sorts of things that you don't really need to think about. And yet again, it's a nominal one, so it's they're named categories. The measure is named. Postcode, same deal. Country, okay, so country, I just wrote in people's country. That's a string variable, which means it's a writing rather than a numeric value that you treat as a number. I just wrote in the country because knowing everyone's country when there's so many hundreds of countries in the world was really unuseful for me. That's not useful for me. So I actually allocated it to region. So I then wrote Australia, New Zealand, North America, UK and Ireland. So I classified, Germany got its special, own special category out of Europe because we have so many Germans travelling here. But this is, so I actually decided to allocate it that way. So each one of these numbers, you type in 6 and it's going to give you Scandinavia. Yet again, all part of a code sheet that as you're entering the data, you have that in front of you so you can do it. What else is probably of value here? They're all nominal. Oh, here's a scale, 1 year born. Okay, so the scale is one where you can actually measure. Yeah, that's probably not a good one. I'll find a scale that's, okay, these are ordinal, all of these. Okay, now this one, these, okay, where are they? It's in there. Okay, there we go. So this is the 3rd page of my survey. I only had 3 pages. I gave them a series of images. I gave them 30 images to look at. and they had to tell me what they thought of those places. So they had to say, well, did they like it or dislike it or whatever. So each one of these is so P1 relates to photo 1, and it gives me on a scale. So we've got, this is an ordinal scale in my calculation here. And I can give it a value of, because it's I don't have to name, it's only nominal things that are named that I actually have to give codes to with 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so forth. With ordinal, you just put in a value.
Okay.
And so that was how I measured a Likert scale in this way. And what that looks like, if we go across to P1 in here, that's on the map. Oh, here we go. That's what that looks like. So that's my 30. Oh, can you see me all right? Because it says my internet connection's unstable. You okay?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, great. So P1, right, got a rating of 5 from the first person, 4 from the second. See, so I had 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 across the top of the columns, and they got rated in there. So that's how that looks.
Okay.
And then you have qualitative data. And there was a little bit of that in mine. So of the images, you just looked at which 2 did you like the most and why. So P most, so the picture you liked most 1, and the picture you liked most 2. That's 2 there. Okay, so picture number 5 was the one I liked the most, which is a nominal. It's nominal, so if you look in P most 1 in the variable view, P most 1 is a nominal because it's just a name of a photo. Even though it's a number, it's just an arbitrary name that I gave that photo. It was picture number 1. So that is actually a named category rather than an actual scale category. And then I said, yep, these are the things. Loved the ocean and sea and nature and so forth, which is what I discussed that sort of output in my qualitative lecture for this week. So does that give you a little bit of an understanding of the kind of stuff that goes into an SPSS database and how it looks?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right, so what I can show you now really quickly, just look, I'm going to show you a couple of times, but this will just give you something to, if you go up to the top there, I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, but at the very top you can actually see, this is the SPSS menu, and you can actually go to Analyze. And look, there's so much you can do with SPSS. What we're going to talk about is only the tip of the iceberg, a very basic understanding of it.
Oh, there better be a lot of stuff you can do with it. The retail price is over 2,000.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, but we can look at any of these. So, for example, descriptives. All right, this is just to show you an analysis. We can look at the gender, and we can look at the region they come from, and we can, fiddle around with it. I don't think we need to look at any of that at the moment. And we just go, okay, and it gives us an output. So there's our description. We've got 523 people answered the gender question. 524 people answered the region composite question, and it just gives me a maximum mean standard deviation. I can then go in again and look at crosstabs, and I can go, okay, male and female people from, here we go, region. Okay, and we can have a look. Yep. So we had 36 males from Australia and New Zealand, 53 from Asia, 128 from Europe and Scandinavia, and a total of 239 people were male. 63 from females, and so on and so forth. So you can see just how fast it is to do. This is why SPSS is so good. is that you can actually do some really quick, we can have a look at, I wonder if I can do that. It takes me ages to fiddle with SPSS. I don't know if that'll actually give me the categories. Yep, so it shows me the frequency of people who rated picture 1 are 5. So 202 people, you can see that was quite a popular picture. So 227 people rated picture 1 4. What I can do is actually process this exceptionally quickly. I can actually do frequencies, and I can go pictures, and obviously I can capture the mean as well in this. I can calculate the mean, which I'll do later, but I can actually put all of them across, and that will calculate all of them for every single one of them straight away. So that's how fast I know how many people rated a P7 or 5 immediately, and that does it for all of those. And it also gives you on the left-hand side of this report, it actually gives you a little summary of where you are, so you can go back and look at what you've analysed previously. So it's like a menu.
Okay.
So I'm interested in P20, so I can look at P20. So anyway, look, that's just the very, very basics. We can do lots of other things with it, but that's essentially the process. You start with a blank canvas, you create your variables based on your survey that you've used. So this is your variables here. And then you go ahead and enter each survey in. And then you conduct your analysis, and it comes out in an output document like this. So that's probably the real basics for you. I hope that gives you a bit of an indication of what you can do. Obviously, there's lots more, but it's those reporting mechanisms using the Global Motors example that you need to do for assessment 3. So this probably hopefully gives you some information so you can work out if you can manage it some other way. You know, if you were really interested, you could potentially, if you had to go to Noosa and it's too far away, you could consider, if you think that you could do all of these statistical analyses in Excel, you could export this on a computer, like open it up and export it to Excel.
Yeah. I should be all right doing it at the Noosa campus. It's not really that far away, and also they have a tea room there, so it'll be fine.
Okay, all right, that's cool. But if you do want any sort of assistance, obviously it's in my best interest. I want you to pass this, and I want you to have access to what you need to get it done. So if I can help in any way, let me know.
Yep. What do I do if Noosa campus doesn't have the program?
Look, talk to me. I have an email from them saying that it's been deployed on all of the campus computers. But if you like, I can email them and double check that it's gone to the Noosa campus. Would that be of benefit to you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll get started on the first assignment probably next week.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've got one that's due next Friday.
Okay.
So I've got to focus on that one, and also it's group assignment. One of the people in my group is in China, so he has limited access to the internet, and the other one is in a really cyclone damaged area. So
oh dear, cyclone's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, there's no telling when she's going to get power back. So
yeah. Look, one thing you have to remember is make sure you do the online quiz as well.
Yeah.
If you don't do the online quiz, it doesn't matter pass or fail, but if you don't do it, you fail the course.
Yeah.
So just make sure that opens on Saturday and it closes on Friday, next Friday. So just make sure that you've got that in your list of things to do.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure I do it.
Cool. That's good. I keep saying that to people, and people, do we have an online quiz? And I'm like, yes. How do you not know? I say it all the time. There's no one.
Have you not read the course profile?
Anyway, all right. Well, look, I'll email you, Shane, and I think I have your surname on my list of, where is that, managed participants? Oh, yep, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Thompson.
I can find you to email you.
Yeah, okay.
No worries. In fact, I might just put it on the forum notice board in case there's other people who need to use the one as well. That's probably the best way.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I'm pretty good for the moment. With the online quiz, yeah, I've got a bit of a system. I do study for my online quizzes quite a bit, but when I don't know the answer to something, I usually just check the index, go to the page that's on, and that's usually how I get by.
Good. And exactly right. I just want you to pass. In the end, just, it's you've got 45 minutes. So my thought would be to, think about how many, you've got 40 questions in 45 minutes. So you've got about a minute a question. So, yeah, it's pretty steep timing wise.
Should be fine.
Yeah, but if you know some instantly, then you should be able to buy yourself some time to look up some of the other questions. Yeah, be good.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, good luck with it. I hope you go well.
Yep, thanks a lot.
All right, see you, Shane.
All right, see ya.